The world of showbiz and movie making as well as coming out on DVD. In fact, out at the moment is the movie called Jack Says. It's rated 15. It's got an all-star cast, including the late comic Mike Reed, footballer turned actor Eric Cantona, and comic Rula Lenska as well. Why are we talking about this? Well, it's all been put together by local filmmaker and producer Toby Meredith, who's going to be joining us on the show in just a moment to discuss his latest movie called Jack Says. In the meantime, let's catch up with some of the action from the film, from the movie trailer. It does contain a couple of gunshots and some dark sounds as well, so just be warned, but enjoy.
How many times did I tell you, stay away from my daughter? You took no notice. Don't say a word, Jack. Talk is cheap.
You see, that was the problem with me. I never could remember what was good for me. Two weaknesses I've always had.
There we go, that's a bit from the trailer of the film Jack Says. Let's welcome to the show filmmaker, producer Toby Meredith. Good morning, Toby.
Good morning, Mike.
Well, it's not every day we're joined by a filmmaker in the studios, and you're from Hurstmansey, right here in East Sussex.
That's correct, yeah.
What came about? In terms of moving from being a thesp on stage to becoming a filmmaker, was that a huge adjustment for you?
Well, I'd worked on some feature films before, sort of very, very minor roles, done short films as well, so I had an idea of the filmmaking process, had a good insight into it. And the biggest leap really was the business side of it. You know, we've been teaching ourselves as we've gone along how to run a business, how to run a film production company as a business, and how to make a movie like Jack Says a success, because you have to get people to invest in your movie. We were funded by private investors, and they want to see results. You know, so we've managed to take a film from concept to a commercially viable, a commercially sellable film, which is now available from various shops. You can buy it online. It's available globally to download, and we've even to increase sales as well. We've got a tie-in graphic novel called Jack Said, which is available shops and also from buying online as well. So yeah, we've just been teaching ourselves as we go along, and you make mistakes as it passes, but the main thing is making up for those mistakes. And with such a strong cast that we worked with as well, they're obviously been in their field for some time. Even Eric Cantona has worked on a few feature films before this one. So we had a lot of talented people, crew and cast alike, to help us get to the stage where we are at this day.
Let's come on to the actual filming of Jack Says. I think it's fair enough to acknowledge that the late Mike Reed is truly the star of the movie. When you learnt that Mike Reed was on board, from that point on, I can imagine it wouldn't have been plain sailing necessarily, but with a name like that on board, it must have been easy to attract investment and to attract the other stars as well, because I understand they came along after Mike Reed.
That's correct, yeah. Well, especially Rula Lenska. She worked with Mike Reed on an EastEnders special a few years back, where I think she was his estranged wife over in Spain.
I remember the storyline, yep.
Yeah, I think most people do. And as soon as she found out Mike was on board, she jumped at the chance to come and work on the same film. With regards to Mike, I don't know if you've seen the film Snatch, the Guy Ritchie movie.
Yes.
And obviously EastEnders, he's East End man through and through. And for him to play the hard man, he's playing the governor, the leader of this dangerous underworld gang. It was great casting for him. He relished the parts, and it's just such a tragedy that he never got to see the film completed.
Oh goodness! So Mike passed away after the filming was completed, but post-production wasn't.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah. His was the first scene that we filmed actually, and because of his name, we were actually using that as a way to raise the investment to get the film completed. We had initially put our own money into it to get the first parts done, and then we were using Mike's name, and then He went and passed away in July last year, and we didn't know what to do really. We thought, do we stop now? Do we carry on? So we spoke to his family, and they were more than happy for us to carry on with the film and get it completed. And the film's actually been released in his memory. And we're having in November, we're having a charity screening of the film in the East End of London for the British Heart Foundation. And I believe that there are several EastEnders cast who've said that they want to come along and pay their respects. And obviously it's for charity and raise money for British Heart Foundation as well.
Brilliant. Well, look, when you get more details of that one, do let us know, and we'll obviously get a nice little plug. I mean, in terms of why names like Mike Reed, Aaron Cantona and Rula Lenska would choose to appear in what is, let's acknowledge it, a low-budget production, but albeit not a low-budget film, that's for sure. I mean, why would they actually sign up to such a movie when, as we've already acknowledged, they get paid far more for appearing in episodes of EastEnders, for example?
I know exactly what you mean. But the thing you have to remember about these names is that they're actors. They love acting. That's why they got into the game in the first place. And yes, they may be able to get more money for programs like EastEnders, but if you send them a script and they like the script, it's the essential part. They like the story and they like the filmmakers they're going to be working with, then they're happy to take a pay cut to carry on acting. If it's, and you obviously have to fit into their schedule. You have to make sure that you could film at a time when they're available, and then they're perfectly happy to come and work on your films.
Maybe I was just being too cynical of human nature there, was all.
Well, maybe I've just been too fortunate with the actors I've worked with so far, but I do get the impression that if you come to these people with a good enough story, then you will be able to get them. You will be able to work with them.
Brilliant. Well, look, I imagine it's personally very rewarding for you to be working alongside such names. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. Jack Says is currently out on release on DVD. It's rated 15. It's described as a modern-day film noir thriller, obviously starring the late Mike Reed, Aaron Cantona and Rula Lenska as well. In terms of what's next for you, because we're talking to you because you're a local filmmaker and producer. We're glad to have you amongst our midst here in East Sussex. What is around the corner for you as a kind of jobbing filmmaker and producer? What are you working on now?
Well, we've got a couple of features that are in pre-production at the moment. One of them is actually the prequel to Jack Says. It's based on the graphic novel Jack Said. So we're looking into the possibilities of producing that one and bringing that one to fruition, which obviously would be tricky because Mike Reed's character is in the first one, but there are ways around that. We've also got a science fiction thriller that myself and my business partner have written personally, and we're getting a bit of interest from various names that we've approached so far with the script. And I think we're in a fortunate position because, not being a London-based production company, there isn't as much competition. There are more revenues for funding down here, and it gives us an opportunity to find talented actors, crew members who may not have the same opportunities because they're not based in London, or may not think that there's the same opportunities. So we do want to try and keep it on the South Coast. I'm from the South Coast through and through, lived here all my life. So I would love to try and get more productions going that can be filmed, funded, produced, screened down here in the South, and work with people down here in the South. Save them trekking up to the big city all the time as well. So if people are interested in what our future projects are going to be, then they can just have a look on our websites. There's the official Jack Says one, which is www.jacksays.co.uk, and then my company's one is www.kalamazoo.co.uk as well.
Brilliant. Look, if you want to find out more, do take the trouble to check out the websites. If you want to find out specifically about Jack Says, then jacksays.co.uk. Jack Says being one word for the website.